Hello students, today we discuss about the radical axis and radical center of circles. Last class we have defined what is the angle between two circles when they are cutting orthogonally, what are the conditions and some of the problems related to them we have discussed it. Today we see what is the radical axis, what is the radical center of three circles, how to define them, what are the properties of radical axis, let us see in this session. What is the radical axis? What is the radical axis? Before going to define the radical axis, let us do this one. I am going to explain the definition with respect to the diagram here. This is the circle S equal to 0 and another circle S dash equal to 0 is there. So it is S equal to 0 and this is the another circle S dash equal to 0. The radical axis of these two circles is defined in this manner. Now consider these points. These are all points in this plane such that its powers with respect to the two circles are equal. We mean P is the point you collect in this plane such a way that the power of P with respect to the two circles are equal. Q is the another point, maintains the same condition. That is also the power of Q with respect to the two circles are equal. So all these are points, their powers with respect to the two circles are equal. You collect all these points, you get some locus. That locus is called radical axis of these two circles. So P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, these are all points such a way that the power of these points with respect to the two circles are equal. The collection of all such points is called radical axis of these two circles. This is the radical axis. So radical axis is defined for two circles. That is the locus of point whose powers with respect to the two circles are equal. This is the definition. Radical axis of two circles is defined as the locus of point whose powers with respect to the two circles are equal. This is the definition of the radical axis. So your circles may be like this. You collect all such points whose powers with respect to the two circles are equal. You get some locus. That locus is called radical axis. This is the straight line. How it becomes a straight line, let us see in this next section. Okay, this is the definition of the radical axis. So once if you have definition, immediately you have one theorem in geometry. This is the theorem. The equation of radical axis of two circles S equal to 0 and S dash equal to 0 is S minus S dash is equals to 0. We are going to find out the equation of the radical axis. Its equation is what? I am saying S minus S dash is equals to 0. So S equal to 0 is the circle. S dash equal to 0 is another circle. We are going to find out the locus of point P such that the power of P with respect to the two circles are equal, because that is the definition of the radical axis. So let Px1 comma y1 be any point on locus. The given two circles are S equal to 0 and S dash equal to 0. These two are in the standard form. We mean coefficient of x square is equal to coefficient of y square equal to 1 in each of the two circles. Let Px1 comma y1 be any point on radical axis. Be any point on radical axis. Radical axis of two circles. S equal to 0 comma S dash equal to 0. So by definition of radical axis, power of P with respect to two circles are same. Therefore, power of P with respect to S equal to 0 comma S dash equal to 0 are equal. What is power of point P with respect to the circle? All of you know that Cp square minus R square. This is the center of circle, join C to P, and if it is radius of the circle, the value Cp square minus R square is called power of the point P with respect to the circle. So that is equivalent to what? S11. If the circle is S is equal to 0, you just substitute the point in the circle equation itself, we get some value that is called power of P. When you are substituting P in S, your equation of circle must and should be in the standard form. So power of P with respect to circle S is what? S11. And similarly the power of P x1 y1 with respect to the another circle S dash equal to 0 is what? S dash 11. So S11 is equal to S dash 11 implies what now? S11 minus S dash 11 equal to 0. So we are going to write the locus for what? X1 y1. Therefore locus of x1 comma y1 is locus of x1 comma y1 is what now? Instead of s11 by you have to write s, instead of s dash 11 by s dash, s minus s dash equal to 0. This is the equation of radical axis of the two given circles s equal to 0 comma s dash equal to 0. So if your s is x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equal to 0, and s dash is equals to x square plus y square plus 2g dash x plus 2f dash y plus c dash is equal to 0, then the radical axis, equation of radical axis is s minus s dash equal to 0. That is what now? X square plus y square, x square plus y square gets cancelled. 2 times of g minus g dash into x plus 2 times of f minus f dash into y plus c minus c dash is equal to 0. This is the equation of the radical axis of the two circles. So when you are subtracting one circle from another circle, your equations must and should be in the standard form. Then only we can write the equation of the radical axis. So radical axis is first degree equation in x and y, always represents a straight line. Am I correct or not? Now we have to find out the radical axis by subtracting one circle equation from the another circle equation. Now before going to subtraction, your equations must be in standard form. For example, s is equals to x square plus y square minus 2x minus 4y plus 5 equal to 0. Another circle equation is s dash is equals to x square plus y square minus 4x plus 3y minus 1 equal to 0. What is its radical axis? Equation of radical axis is s minus s dash equal to 0. So just by subtracting, we obtain 2x, these two gets cancelled, 2x minus 7y plus 6 is equals to 0. This is the equation of radical axis. So in this manner, just by subtracting one from other, we get the equation of radical axis. Suppose your equation is s is equal to 3x square plus 3y square minus 6x plus 4y minus 1 equal to 0. Another equation is s dash equal to 2x square plus 2y square minus 3x plus 4y minus 2 equal to 0. So suppose two circles are in this manner, how to find their radical axis? You have to divide with the first equation by 3 and divide with the second equation by 2 and then go for subtraction. So when you are finding the power of point, your equation of circle must and should be in the standard form. That is why you have to convert the given two equations in the standard form. So the first equation becomes what now? By cancel out the 3 here, this is 2 times, this is 4 by 3, this is 1 by 3. By dividing 2 by, you get 3 by 2, this is 2 and this becomes 1. Now subtract. equation of radical axis is what now? S minus S dash is equals to 0. So x square plus y square gets cancelled. Minus 2 plus 3 by 2. Minus 2 plus 3 by 2 times of x plus 4 by 3 minus 2. 4 by 3 minus 2 times of y plus minus 1 by 3 plus 1. Minus 1 by 3 plus 1 is equal to 0. In this manner, you have to find out the equation of the radical axis. The simplification is very easy for you. Minus 4 plus 3, that is minus 1 by 2x. And again, 4 minus 6, minus 2 by 3. Minus 2 by 3y and plus 2 by 3 equal to 0. You may take LCM as 6 and you can simplify this one. This is the way to find out the radical axis. Without dividing by 3 and 2, if you just subtract one from other, you get wrong equation. That means you get another circle. Here, you form another circle. That is not the equation of the radical axis. Radical axis is always a first degree equation x and y, always represents a straight line. So, finally, what is radical axis? Radical axis is defined for two circles. It is nothing but the locus of point whose powers with respect to the two circles are equal. Power of x1 y1 with respect to the circle s equal to 0 is s11. For s dash equal to 0 is s dash 11. So by just subtracting one from other, we get the equation of the radical axis. One thing you should be remember, when you are subtracting one from other, the equations of circles must and should be in the standard form, because power is defined such a manner that Cp square minus r square, you convert it into S11 by taking the equation itself in the standard form. Understand? So, the equation of radical axis is nothing but S minus S dash is equals to 0. Now, let us see the properties of radical axis. Dear students, the properties are very important for you. And with respect to IPE examinations as well as the competitive examinations, the properties of radical axis are very important. If you know the more properties about the radical axis, you can do the problems easily. So let us see the properties of radical axis. Now this is the first property. Already we defined here. The radical axis of two circles is a straight line and it is perpendicular to line joining of their centers. So radical axis of two given circles is what they are saying. It is a straight line and it is always perpendicular to line joining of their centers they are given. This is the first property. This is the circle S is equals to 0 say, and its center is like this. This is the C1 and another circle is like that. Its center is at C2. What we are going to show that its radical axis is perpendicular to line joining of their centers. Suppose this is the radical axis. Radical axis is already we defined that it is a straight line. S minus S dash equal to 0. Suppose the radical axis is in this manner, then line joining of C1, C2 is this one. So the angle between them is always 90 degrees. We are going to show that. Understand? So for this is the equation. S is equal to 0 for the circle and its equation is S dash equal to 0. So what is the radical axis of these two circles? S minus S dash is equal to 0. This is the equation of radical axis of the two circles. On simplifying, already we discussed 2 times of G minus G dash into X plus 2 times of F minus F dash into Y plus C minus C dash is equal to 0. This is the equation of the radical axis of the two circles. What is its slope? M1. Its slope M1 is equal to minus 2 times of G minus G dash by 2 times of F minus F dash. 2 gets cancelled. That is minus of G minus G dash by F minus F dash. This is the slope of the radical axis. Now, is it straight line or not? It is a first degree equation in x and y. That is where we find the slope of the line. Now, what is the center of the first circle? Minus G comma minus F. What is the center of second circle? Minus G dash comma minus F dash. What is the slope of C1, C2? Slope of line joining of C1, C2 is equals to what now? Minus F dash plus F. we mean f minus f dash. F minus f dash by g minus g dash. So see here, this is m2 say. Clearly m1 into m2 is equals to minus 1. m1 m2 is equals to minus 1. Because g minus g dash, f minus f dash clearly cancel out. Therefore, m1 m2 is equal to minus 1. So, two non-vertical lines, their product of slopes is minus 1. Then we say that the angle between the two lines is 90 degrees. So, clearly radical axis of two given circles is a straight line and it is always perpendicular to line joining of their centers. This is the first property. What is that? Radical axis of two given circles is a straight line and always it is perpendicular to the line joining of their centers. Radical axis means the locus of point whose powers with respect to the two circles are equal. Power of x1 by 1 with respect to s equal to 0 is what? S11. Next one. The next property is radical axis of two equal circles is perpendicular bisector of line joining of their centers. Suppose there are two circles, they are equal circles. Equal circles we mean their radius are equal. Their radius are equal. For those circles, the radical axis is also a straight line. It is perpendicular to line joining of their centers. At the same time, that will be the perpendicular bisector of line joining of their centers, they are saying. So, what is the speciality here? These two circles are equal. We mean their radius are equal. At that time, the radical axis becomes the perpendicular bisector of the line segment joining of C1 and C2, where C1, C2 are the centers of the two circles. Okay? This is the first circle and it is its center. This is the second circle, it is its center. Now, these two centers are say C1 comma C2. Its radical axis is like this. This is the line joining of their centers. Already we proved radical axis is a straight line and it is perpendicular to line joining of their centers. One more thing you have to prove that is it is the bisector. It is the bisector, you are going to prove that. How to prove that one? This is bisector. Suppose this P is the point of intersection of the radical axis and line joining of their centers. Also we have C1, C2 is perpendicular to radical axis. C1, C2 is perpendicular to radical axis. This is the number one. So by the first property itself, radical axis perpendicular to C1, C2. This is the first property. One more you have to prove that. What is that? This is the point of intersection, that will be the midpoint of C1, C2. Then we say that this is the line perpendicular bisector to that C1 and C2. Understand? So the line passing through midpoint of C1, C2, you have to prove that. Suppose P is the point of intersection of the radical axis and line joining of C1, C2. What is P now? Is it P lies on radical axis or not? This is the point on radical axis. P on radical axis. When point is on the radical axis, the definition is applied for P also. So the power of P with respect to both circles are equal. Therefore, power of P with respect to both circles are equal. Implies what? Power of P with respect to the first circle is what now? C1 P square minus R square. C1 P square minus R square. Here the two circles are equal circles, so both of them have same radius, say R. C1 P square minus R square is equal to C2 P square minus R square. Plus R square minus R square gets cancelled. We have C1 P square is equal to C2 P square. C1 P means what? The distance from C1 to P. C2P means what? The distance from C2P. So both distances are positive. Therefore C1P is equal to C2P. What it means? P is the midpoint of C1, C2. Implies P is midpoint of C1, C2. Line segment C1, C2. So this is equation number 2. So from 1 and 2, can you conclude that radical axis the perpendicular bisector of line joining of C1, C2 or not? So the radical axis perpendicular to C1, C2 by first property itself, and now we prove that C1P is equal to C2P. Therefore, P is the midpoint of line segment joining of C1, C2. We mean the radical axis bisects this portion C1, C2 as two equal parts. Then this is the bisector. At the same time, that is perpendicular to the line joining of C1, C2. Hence, that radical axis becomes perpendicular bisector when the two circles are equal. That means their radius are equal. It becomes perpendicular bisector. Understand? Therefore, perpendicular bisector, the radical axis becomes perpendicular bisector when the two circles are equal circles. To what? Line joining of their centers. Next one. This is the next property. Radical axis is not defined for two concentric circles. So, radical axis is a straight line. It is perpendicular to line joining of their centers. If the circles are equal, that becomes perpendicular bisector. At the same time, the third property is what now? The radical axis is not defined for any two concentric circles. So, this is the one of the circle, and it is concentric to the first circle. This is the center for both the circles. We have to show that the radical axis is not defined for this type of concentric circles. Suppose we take radical axis exists for these two circles. I am taking radical axis exists. This is the center of the circle. Suppose R1 is the radius of the first circle and R2 is the radius of the second circle. Okay, radical axis exists, I am taking here. So some point will be there. Let P be any point on the radical axis of the two concentric circles with the center at C with radii R1, R2 respectively. I am going to do the contradiction method. There exists a radical axis. Therefore, there exists a point on the radical axis. So let P be that point on the radical axis of these two concentric circles I am taking. So P is on the radical axis, immediately power of P with respect to the two circles are equal. So power of P with respect to two circles are equal. Two circles are equal. We mean Cp square minus R1 square is equal to Cp square minus R2 square, because C is the common for both circles. Concentric circles have the same center. Immediately Cp square gets cancelled. What we obtain here? R1 square is equal to R2 square. We mean R1 is equal to R2. What is this? This is contradiction to our assumption that R1 not equal to R2, because concentric circles have same center with different radii. Therefore, we obtain the contradiction. Why we are getting the contradiction? When you are taking point P on the radical axis. That means there is no point, there is no radical axis. Therefore, radical axis is not defined for the concentric circles. In the same manner, we can derive in this manner also. Suppose if you are not proceeding in this manner, consider S is equals to x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equal to 0 is one circle, and s dash is equal to x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c dash equal to 0. These are two concentric circles with center at minus g comma minus f. Now these are also in the standard form. Their coefficients are x square and y square are 1. What is the radical axis now? C minus C dash equal to 0. Is it straight line? No. C minus C dash is equal to 0 we obtain. That means C equal to C dash. Both the circles are same. but it is contradiction to our assumption that these two circles are concentric. But here the one circle coincides with other circle. This is also contradiction. There is no radical axis here itself. There is no first degree equation. Everything is cancelled out when you are subtracting one from other. This is contradiction. Hence the radical axis is not defined for any two concentric circles. Both the methods we can convey that the radical axis is not defined for any two concentric circles, my dears. Okay. Next property. This is the property. P is any point on the radical axis of two circles which is outside of them, then the length of tangent from P to the two circles are equal. What is that? P is any point on the radical axis of the two circles and which is outside of both the circles. Then we have to prove that the length of tangent from P to the two circles are equal. So this is the first circle, this is the second circle. There exists radical axis for these two circles because these two are not concentric here. This is the radical axis of the two circles. Let us consider some point P on the radical axis which is outside to both the circles, say. So this is my point P on the radical axis. The radical axis may be infinite length. Okay. So this is one of my point on the radical axis. This is outside to both the circles. Now we have to show that the length of tangent from P to the two circles are equal. This is the point P. This is one of the tangent drawn from P to the circle. There exists another tangent also. Okay. And this is the another tangent drawn from P to the second circle. We have to show that both the lengths are same. Now these two lengths are equal as well as these four should be equal. If it is point outside to the circle, there exists two tangents can be drawn from two circles. So already we know that these two are equal. These two are also equal. Now we have to show that these two are also equal. These two are also equal at now. How to show this one? This is very simple for you. By definition itself, the length of tangents are equal. What is P? P on the radical axis. P is point on radical axis. Therefore, power of P with respect to two circles are equal. Implies power of P with respect to two circles are equal. Implies what? Suppose this is S is equal to 0, it is S dash equal to 0, your point is x1 comma y1, immediately we have S11 is equal to S11 dash. Powers are equal, point outside, so S11 is positive, S11 dash is also positive. Can I take root on both sides or not? Both are positive, the root extent should be exist. Root S11 is equal to root S11 dash. My dears, what is root S11? Length of tangent from P to the first circle. What is root S11 dash? Length of tangent from P to the second circle. Implies, therefore, the length of tangent from P to S equal to 0 is equal to the length of tangent from P to S dash equal to 0. Hence proved. So powers are equal, length of tangents are equal. Very simple concept. So P is any point on the radical axis of two circles which is outside of the two circles, then the length of tangent is always same. If you take the point here itself, draw the tangents to the both circles, these are also equal. If it is 6 units, then automatically that will be 6 units. If it is 4 units, automatically this will be also 4 units. So length of tangent is always same because their powers are equal, their roots are also equal. That means the length of tangents are equal. Understand? This is the fourth property. Let us see the next property. This is the fifth property. Radical axis bisects all the common tangents of two given circles. With the help of the above property, we can easily prove this one. What is that? The radical axis of two given circles is always bisects all possible common tangents of these two circles. We mean what? Consider the two circles. This is the circle 1, it is the another circle. For this situation, how many common tangents can I draw? 4 common tangents, in which 2 of them are direct and 2 of them are transverse. Understand? This is the tangent, direct common tangent. This is the another direct common tangent, and these 2 are the transverse common tangents as shown in this figure. Now we have to show that its radical axis bisects these 4 common tangents. Bisect we mean what? This is the first point of contact, this is the second point of contact of the direct common tangent. So this is the AB, say. Your radical axis bisect this common tangent. That means the midpoint of AB must and should be lies on your radical axis. Similarly, if it is CD, this point of contact is C, it is D, then its midpoint is also lies on radical axis. Similarly, these are the points of contact of transverse common tangent, EF, say. Its midpoint also lies on the radical axis. This is some GH. Its midpoint also lies on the radical axis. The radical axis may or may not be passing through their point of intersection. Understand? So the radical axis of 2 circles is defined by definition itself. Understand? This is its radical axis. In this figure, automatically that is passing through that point of intersection. In this figure, the radical axis may or may not be passing through this point of intersection. The radical axis may be like this. No problem. Understand? So your target is the radical axis bisects all these common tangents. We mean the segment formed by the point of contacts is bisected by your radical axis. How can you prove? Nothing in this proof. Very easy for you. Because suppose this is the point of intersection of direct common tangent and your radical axis, say. P is the point of intersection of radical axis and direct common tangent. Now is it P lies on the tangent, lies on the radical axis or not? Lies on the radical axis as well as on the direct common tangent. Now P is on the radical axis, we mean power of P with respect to the 2 circles are equal. When the power is equal, their length of tangents are also equal, just we proved. So the length of tangent from P to the 2 circles are equal. We mean PB is equals to PA itself. Therefore, PB is equals to PA. Similarly, we can prove that the EF is also bisected by radical axis. This is the point of intersection of radical axis with this transverse common tangent. Suppose say Q, say. Now QE is equals to QF because the length of tangents are equal. If P is any point on the radical axis, the length of tangent from P to the 2 circles are equal, already proved by the property 4. So that property, with the help of that property, we can achieve this property also. That means, suppose 2 circles are in this manner, this is its radical axis, this is one of the common tangent, these are the points of contacts. What I am saying, this segment is bisected by that radical axis because this is the point of intersection, this is point on the radical axis, its powers are equal, automatically its length of tangents are also equal. So these 2 lengths are equal. That means what? The radical axis bisects this common tangent. That is the property. Similarly, the same work can be done for this direct common tangent also, for this also, for this also. Okay, the radical axis bisects all the common tangents. So with the help of the support of 4th property itself, we can prove this one. Understand? Next one. If 2 circles intersecting each other, then their common chord will be the radical axis. My dears, suppose 2 circles are there, they are intersecting each other, then its radical axis exists, that is nothing but the common chord of the 2 circles. So how can you prove this one? This is also very simple to you. See here, this is the first circle, S is equal to 0, say. This is the another circle, S dash equal to 0. These 2 are intersected these points. These are the points of intersections of these 2 circles. Suppose these are S is equal to 0 and S dash equal to 0. What you are going to prove? You are going to prove that the radical axis of the 2 circles is nothing but the common chord of the 2 circles. Common chord we mean the chord which is passing through both the point of intersections of two circles. This is called common chord of these two circles. Common chord we mean this is the line passing through point of intersection of the two circles. Remember. Now how to prove this one? This is the radical axis of the two circles. That is the common chord for both circles. We are going to prove that. Suppose P comma Q. What I am taking? P comma Q are the points of intersections of the two circles and its coordinates are say x1 comma y1 and x2 comma y2. I am going to prove that the equation of PQ as S minus S dash equal to 0, then your game is over. What is the radical axis of two circles? S equal to 0 and S dash equal to 0. S minus S dash equal to 0. This is the equation of radical axis. Your target becomes what? Equation of line joining of PQ is also S minus S dash equal to 0, then your job is over. Understand or not? Now, the point P x1 comma y1 lies on both circles. Therefore, S11 is equal to 0 and S dash 11 equal to 0. We mean what? S11 minus S dash 11 equal to 0. I am taking this as common chord. I am not taking this one as radical axis. If it is radical axis, powers are equal. That is out of matter. This is the radical axis. We have S minus S dash equal to 0. Suppose the radical axis is here. I am taking for these two circles. Its equation is S minus S dash equal to 0. Now I am going to show that its equation is also S minus S dash equal to 0. Then both will be coincident. So I am taking PQ as common chord. PQ as common chord and P is the point of intersection of the two circles. Therefore, my point lies on both circles. I am substituting. We get this condition like S11 equal to 0 and S dash 11 equal to 0. So, both are same. That is why S11 minus S11 dash is equal to 0. So, this is equation number 1. Again, the point x2, y2 lies on both circles. S22 equal to 0 and S22 dash is also 0. Implies what happened? S22 minus S22 dash is equals to 0. S22 minus S22 dash equal to 0. Now take the equation S minus S dash equal to 0. Consider S minus S dash equal to 0. This is first degree equation in x and y, represents always a straight line, and this equation satisfies x1 y1 and x2 y2 because of by 1 and 2. S11 minus S11 dash equal to 0, we mean x1 y1 lies on S minus S dash equal to 0. x2 comma y2 lies on S minus S dash equal to 0 with the evidence of 2. So P comma Q lies on S minus S dash equal to 0. P comma Q lies on S minus S dash equal to 0 since by 1 and 2. So, can I take the equation of PQ as S minus S dash equal to 0 or not? 2 points lies on some line. We mean the line joining of the 2 points gives the entire equation. So, the equation of PQ is nothing but S minus S dash equal to 0. PQ equation is S minus S dash equal to 0. It indicates what? Radical axis and the chord joining of PQ have the same equation, that is S minus S dash equal to 0. We mean that both are represents same line. Understand? So, two circles intersect each other, then their common chord will be the radical axis. It is very simple to you. So, suppose there are two circles intersecting each other, their radical axis gives the common chord. Suppose find the equation of common chord of two circles. What you are doing? Just subtract one from other when they are in the standard form, otherwise convert the equations into the standard form and just subtract one from other, you get the equation of common chord of the two circles. That means the radical axis. Two circles intersect each other, then their common chord is nothing but its radical axis as proved in this manner. Understand? Suppose find the equation of common chord of two circles. X square plus y square minus 3x plus 4y minus 7 equal to 0 and another circle x square plus y square minus 2x plus 6y minus 1 is equal to 0. How can you do? Just by subtracting one from other, you get the equation of the common chord. That means this is minus x and we have minus 2y minus 6 is equal to 0. That is x plus 2y plus 6 is equal to 0. This is the equation of common chord of the two circles. Without finding the line joining slope of C1, C2 and perpendicular slope, take the point and etc. etc. You can't do anything. Just subtract one from other, you get the equation of the radical axis. That means equation of the common chord. Suppose without knowing this logic, what you have to do? You don't know on the point. They are not. We can't say it is the midpoint. If there are two equal circles, that becomes midpoint. Suppose these two are different circles. This is not midpoint. Understand? You don't know the point on this line. Okay, even though find the slope of C1, C2, you don't know the point on the line. So what you have to do, you have to solve these two circles immediately, then only you get the points of intersection, then you have to find the equation of line, joining of these 2 points. Without solving the two circles, you can easily write the equation of the common chord by subtract one from other, by the theory itself. So, if two circles intersect each other, then their common chord will be the radical axis. Very, very, very important concept for you. So, when you are finding the equation of common chord, you just subtract one from other when they are in the standard form, otherwise make them into the standard form. That gives radical axis, that is nothing but your common chord. Equation of common chord is nothing but s minus s dash is equals to 0. Okay. Next one. This is the another property. If two circles touch each other internally or externally, then the tangent at their point of contact is radical axis. What is the previous property? If two circles intersect each other, then their common chord is radical axis. Here, if two circles touch either internally or externally, then the tangent at their point of contact is the radical axis. In the same manner, we can prove this one. It is also very easy for you. This is the first circle. It is the second circle. This is the tangent, common tangent at their point of contact. We have to show that this is the radical axis. Radical axis is the tangent at their point of contact. The circles may be touched internally or externally. So the second circle may be in this manner also. The tangent at that point of contact is the radical axis. How to prove this one? This is also very easy for you. Suppose this is x1 comma y1, then the point lies on both circles, therefore s11 is equal to 0 and s dash 11 is equal to 0. We mean s11 minus s11 dash is equal to 0. Therefore x1 y1 lies on what? Lies on s minus s dash equal to 0. That is our radical axis. What is s minus s dash equal to 0? Equation of radical axis of two circles s equal to 0 comma s dash equal to 0. Already we know that the point of contact and centers are collinear. So your radical axis perpendicular to the line joining of their centers and the point lies on the radical axis. So the equation of the tangent at their point of contact is nothing but radical axis or not? This is radical axis. So power of point P with respect to the two circles are also equal here, because point on the circle S11 is equal to 0 and S11 dash is equal to also 0. If point is on the circle, then its power constant should be 0. So power of S equal to 0 and power of S dash is equal to 0 of the point P x1 y1 with respect to the two circles are 0. Power of P with respect to the two circles are 0, because the point lies on the circle. So by including all these concepts, we say that the tangent at their point of contact is the radical axis of the two circles. Understand? So first of all, this is the tangent at their point of contact. We are going to prove that this one has the equation of radical axis. That means your point first of all lies on this line, that is the common tangent, That means x1 y1 is lies on both circles, therefore we have the two conditions s11 equal to 0 and s dash 11 equal to 0. By subtracting we get this condition. We mean this point lies on what? S minus s dash equal to 0. That is on what? Radical axis. So the s minus s dash equal to 0 is nothing but the common tangent at that point of contact. Also the radical axis is always perpendicular to line joining of their centers. At the same time common tangent is also perpendicular to the line joining of their centers, and it is passing through x1 comma y1. So by using all these concepts we conclude that the tangent at that point of contact is nothing but the radical axis of the two given circles. That's all. So if two circles intersect each other, their common chord is the radical axis. If two circles touch internally or externally, the tangent at their point of contact is radical axis, and the radical axis bisects all the common tangents, and radical axis is not defined for concentric circles, and radical axis is always perpendicular to line joining of their centers. If the two circles are equal, the radical axis will become perpendicular bisector of the line joining of their centers. These are all properties of the radical axis. Let us see the next property. This is the property. Very nice property. Suppose a circle S is equal to 0 bisects the circumference of another circle S dash is equal to 0. Suppose a circle is there, S is equal to 0. What is the role of the circle? That bisects the circumference of another circle S dash equal to 0. It means what? Bisects the circumference means what? 2 pi r is the circumference. Bisect means half. So the circle S equal to 0 bisect the S dash is equal to 0, we mean that makes two equal parts. The circle S equal to 0 makes two equal parts of S dash is equal to 0 by intersecting itself. Then we have to show that the radical axis passing through S dash is equal to 0 and their S equal to 0 and S dash equal to 0, and their length of the common chord is diameter of S dash is equals to 0. Then the radical axis is nothing but the line joining of their points of intersections, and at the same time the length of their common chord is diameter of S dash is equals to 0. Very simple. The statement itself gives the proof for you. Suppose this is the circle S dash is equal to 0. This is my circle S dash is equal to 0, and this is the circle S is equal to 0 bisects the circumference of S dash is equal to 0. So this is my circle S dash is equal to 0. This is the diameter of the circle, one of the diameter of the circle AB. Your S, what is the role of S? Bisecting the circumference of S dash equal to 0. So this is the half of the portion, this is the half of circumference, this is the another half. So this is the diameter. When I am writing the diameter, these are the 2 points of intersections. If your circle S equal to 0 passing through these 2 points A and B, we mean bisects. So by intersecting S equal to 0 to S dash equal to 0, and S dash becomes two equal parts, one of the half of this part, the other one is like this. At that time we are saying the radical axis will be the line passing through point of intersections A and B, and at the same time length of their common chord is diameter of S dash equal to 0. Is it clear or not? By diagram itself the proof is over. So in the previous session we have discussed that if two circles intersect each other, then their common chord is the radical axis. So by intersecting points we are joining in this manner, it is the radical axis. At the same time AB is what? Diameter of S dash is equal to 0 by given condition itself. So both conditions are satisfied by the diagram itself. Suppose you take any circle like this, you take any diameter AB. If another circle passing through these 2 points AB, that means what? It is the circle S equal to 0 bisects the circumference of the circle S dash equal to 0. So this length is pi r, this is also pi r. So the role of S equal to 0 is bisecting the circle by intersecting at 2 points, like that. This is the meaning of the bisecting. At that time, the common chord is the radical axis and the length of their common chord is what now? Diameter of this circle. Diameter of this circle. Suppose there is another circle in this manner that is passing through ends of a diameter. We say that S equal 0 bisects the circumference of another circle here itself. Suppose there exists another circle here. By joining of their points of intersections is another diameter A dash B dash. What do you say? S equal 0 bisects the circumference of the third circle also. So how many circles can you prepare in this manner? Infinite number of circles. One circle may bisect their circumferences infinitely. So infinite circles may be exist such a way that their circumferences are bisected by a single circle. This is S equal 0. What is its role? It bisects all these circles. This is the meaning of the bisecting of one circle by other. Dears, listen carefully. At that time, what is the length of common chord? The length of the common chord is diameter of the circle which is bisected by other. Which is bisected by the other. So this is S dash equal to 0, which is bisected by your circle S is equal to 0, not the diameter of S equal to 0. This is the diameter. Just by drawing the figure itself, you can easily write their length of common chord. The length of the common chord is diameter of S dash equal to 0. S dash equal to 0 is bisected by the circle S equal to 0. Here S equal to 0 bisects S dash is equals to 0. Next one. This is the property, very important property, very nice property also for you. This is the property. If a circle S double dash equal to 0 cuts orthogonally the circles S equal to 0 and S dash is equal to 0, then the radical axis of S equal to 0 and S dash equal to 0 passing through center of S double dash is equal to 0. So read once again yourself. S double dash equal to 0 is a circle. What is the role of the circle here? That intersecting orthogonally the two circles S equal to 0 and S dash equal to 0. S double dash is my circle. Intersecting orthogonally one pair of circle, that is S equal to 0 and S dash equal to 0. At that time, the radical axis of S equal to 0 and S dash equal to 0 passing through the center of S double dash equal to 0. Passing through center of what? S double dash equal to 0. One pair of circles are there. Both circles are intersecting orthogonal by another circle S double dash equal to 0. At that time, the radical axis of their two circles is always passing through center of the circle S double dash equal to 0, which intersect orthogonally the given two circles S equal to 0 and S dash equal to 0. We mean what? By seeing the diagram itself. This is the first circle, S is equal to 0 say. This is the another circle, S dash is equal to 0. And this is the circle intersecting orthogonally the two circles. This is S double dash is equal to 0. Intersecting orthogonal means if you draw the tangents at their points of intersections, angle between them is 90 degrees. What you are going to prove? The radical axis of these two circles must and should be passing through center of S double dash equal to 0. This is the center of S double dash is equal to 0. Then it is the radical axis of these two circles. So this is the circle intersecting orthogonally two circles. Then the radical axis of these two circles must and should be passing through center of S double dash is equal to 0. That is, you are going to prove that. Very important concept here. So suppose S double dash equal to 0 is my circle, taking in this manner x square plus y square plus 2g double dash x plus 2f double dash y plus c double dash equal to 0. This is S double dash equal to 0. Cutting orthogonally, S equal to what? x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equal to 0 and s dash is equal to x square plus y square plus 2g dash x plus 2f dash y plus c dash equal to 0. So I have taken the same concept what they are given to you. This is the circle, cuts orthogonally the two circles. What is your aim? Your aim is your radical axis of these two circles passing through center of s double dash equal to 0. What is center of s double dash? Minus g double dash comma minus f double dash. Now I am going to apply the orthogonality for these two circles. Tell me, what is the condition? 2 into g dash plus ff dash equal to c plus c dash is there. So what is g here? G itself. 2 into g dash means here g double dash plus f into f double dash is equal to c plus c double dash. Angle between s double dash and s is 90 degrees. So we obtain this condition. This is equation number 1. In the same manner, s double dash equal to 0 cutting orthogonally s dash also. Angle between these two is also 90 degrees. Apply the same condition. We have what? 2 into g double dash plus f dash into f double dash is equal to c dash plus c double dash. This is equation number 2. Since s equal to 0 and s double dash equal to 0 cutting orthogonally. Similarly, s double dash equal to 0 and s equal to 0 cutting orthogonally. We are applying the two conditions. So these are my two properties. We can use at anywhere, at any time. You can do whatever it may be. Just by subtracting these two obtained conditions, one from other, what happened, my dears? 2 into g minus g dash into g double dash plus 2 into f minus f dash into f double dash is equal to, here c double dash gets cancelled by subtracting. We have c minus c dash. Right? Take these two terms to the right side. What happened? 2 times of g minus g dash into minus g double dash plus 2 times of f minus f dash into minus f double dash plus c minus c dash equal to 0. I think the proof is over, because minus g double dash minus f double dash lies on what? Clearly, minus g double dash comma minus f double dash lies on what? 2 into g minus g dash into x plus 2 into f minus f dash into y plus c minus c dash is equal to 0. C minus c dash is equals to 0. It means what? The center of s double dash equal to 0 lies on, what is that? Radical axis of s equal to 0 comma s dash equal to 0. So that is center of s double dash equal to 0 lies on radical axis of s equal to 0 comma s dash equal to 0. That means radical axis of s equal to 0 comma s dash equal to 0 passing through center of s double dash equal to 0. Just by writing the two conditions itself, we obtain the required result. So remember, my dear students, suppose one pair of circle is there, one circle s double dash equal to 0 cutting orthogonally both circles, then their radical axis always passing through center of the circle, which is bisected by the both circles. Understand? This is the circle s double dash equal to 0. What is its role? Intersecting orthogonally a pair of circle. At that time, their radical axis passing through center of the circle s double dash equal to 0. Suppose there is another circle intersecting orthogonally the two circles. What happened? Its center is also lies on the radical axis. Suppose two circles are there. One circle orthogonally the two circles. Its center lies on the radical axis. Another circle s triple dash intersect orthogonally s equal to 0 and s dash equal to 0, even though their center is also lies on the radical axis. So can you define one locus or not? Locus of center of circle cutting orthogonally two given circles is its radical axis or not? Yes, clearly it is its radical axis. The locus of center of circle cutting orthogonally two given circles is a radical axis, because these are the two circles. Suppose some circle cutting orthogonally two circles, its center on the radical axis. Suppose there is another circle cutting orthogonally the same two circles, its center also lies on the radical axis of these two. So this is the another circle, there exists another circle, you can draw infinite number of circles. So we get the infinite number of circles in this manner. You collect all their centers, you get radical axis. This is the radical axis. Locus of center of circle cutting orthogonally two given circles is its radical axis. Understand? Next one. This is the note. The locus of center of circle cutting orthogonally the two circles S equal to 0 and S dash equal to 0 is the radical axis. We discussed now itself. So, any two circles, if you fix any two circles like this, you can draw infinite number of circles intersect orthogonally the two circles. These are all circles intersecting orthogonally the pair of circles. All these centers lies on its radical axis. This is the radical axis itself. Okay. Suppose they are asking find the locus of center of circle cutting orthogonally two circles S equal to 0 and S dash equal to 0. Two circles are given to you. What you are doing? Just to subtract one from other, you get radical axis. That is your required locus. Understand? See this question, with the help of the above property, we can easily do this one. So many times this is the question was asked in your previous exams. The circle passing through the point A comma B cuts the circle x square plus y square is equal to 4 orthogonally, then the locus of its center is what? Without using this property also you can do this problem by applying the orthogonal property and substitution of the point itself. But I am going to taking interest about the previous note to solve this problem. So the circle passing through the point A comma B and cuts the circle orthogonally, then locus of its center is what? That means we are going to find out the locus of center of circle. This is one of my circle. You are going to find out the locus of center of circle passing through what? A comma B and cuts orthogonally some circle. What is the circle equation? X square plus y square equal to 4. How many circles can I draw? Infinite number of circles you can draw. Such a way that the circle passing through A comma B cuts orthogonally the circle. There exists another circle also. This is the circle passing through A comma B, cuts orthogonally the circle x square plus y square equal to 4. The center of the circle may be here. You collect all these points, you get some locus. What is that they are asking? My dears, I am taking this point P as a circle, point circle. Can I take or not? One circle passing through that point means the angle between the point circle and circle is always 90 degrees. This is the tangent for the point circle. This is the tangent for the point circle. This is the tangent for this circle. Angle between them is what now? You may take 90 degrees. So if you take any point on the circumference of circle, then that point circle and the circle, angle between them is 90 degrees you may treat. So this is the tangent to this circle, and for this point circle you may take this one as tangent. So angle between them is what now? 90 degrees you may take. So this is a point circle. This is the another circle x square plus y square equal to 4. These two circles are cutting orthogonal by your circle. That means its center lies on what? Radical axis of these two circles. By the previous note. So the locus of center of circle cutting orthogonally two given circles is its what? Radical axis. So you write the point circle for this one and subtract the circle, you obtain the required locus. What is the point circle of A comma B here itself? Your point is P, point circle. Point circle means its radius is 0. That means x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square is equal to 0. That means what? X square plus y square minus 2ax minus 2by plus a square plus b square equal to 0, and subtract the equation x square plus y square minus 4 itself. So the required locus is minus 2ax minus 2by plus a square plus b square plus 4 equal to 0, or we may take 2ax plus 2by is equal to a square plus b square plus 4. So this is the locus of center of circle passing through some point a comma b and cuts orthogonally the given circle in this manner. Don't forget, this is very important model. Write the point circle and subtract from the circle x square plus y square equal to 4 itself, we get the required locus. So instead of some circle, they are given some point. You treat that point as also a point circle. Remember, the locus of center of circle cutting orthogonally two given circles is what? It's the radical axis. In this problem, I treat the point a comma b as a point circle. Write the point circle equation and subtract from the another circle, we get the required locus as its radical axis, which is 2ax plus 2by is equal to a square plus b square plus 4. Remember. And this is the next property. The radical axis of three circles taken in pairs are either parallel or concurrent. This is the 10th property for you about the radical axis. What they are given to you? The radical axis of three circles. Up to here there is no meaning. Radical axis is defined for only two circles. Next, see the statement. Taken in pairs. How many circles are there? Three circles. You have to take the radical axis for every two circles. That is the meaningful. The radical axis of three circles taken in pairs are either parallel or concurrent. That is the statement. Suppose three circles are like this. We mean centers of the three circles are collinear. This is C1, this is C2, this is C3. Suppose the centers of the three circles are collinear, that means they lie on a line. At this time, immediately the radical axes are parallel, because the radical axis is the perpendicular to the line joining of their centers. Its radical axis is like this. The radical axis is perpendicular to C1, C2. The radical axis of these two circles may be in this manner, because the radical axis is perpendicular to line joining of their centers. Similarly, you can write the radical axis of first and third circle, they may be like this. This is also perpendicular to the line joining of their centers. These three lines are perpendicular to the same line, L is equal to 0, then we mean these three are parallel or not. These three are the lines which are perpendicular to some line, we mean these three lines are parallel. So the first case is over. Suppose the centers of the three circles are collinear, then their radical axes are parallel. So the radical axis of the three circles taken in pairs are either parallel. Parallel condition is completed. Suppose the three centers are not collinear, we mean they form a triangle. At that time, the radical axis taken in pairs are concurrent. How to prove that one? This is the first case. Centers are collinear, then their radical axes are parallel. If not, what happen? Suppose the circles are like this. These are the three circles. Three circles, its centers are in this manner. This is C1. C3. What you are going to prove? You are going to prove that their radical axes are concurrent. This is the line joining of C1, C2. This is the line joining of C1, C3. And this is for C2, C3. This is the radical axis of these two circles. Because radical axis is perpendicular to line joining of their centers. This is the radical axis of next. This is the radical axis of the line joining of their for these two circles. Suppose say it is S equal to 0, S dash equal to 0, S double dash equal to 0. These three are concurrent. Why the radical axis may be in this manner, they may not be concurrent. Why we are doing in this manner? So with theoretically we have to prove that these three lines are concurrent. Suppose the three centers are not collinear, the situation may be in this manner. their radical axis always perpendicular to their corresponding line joining of their centers. But how can you say they meet at the same point? That is my point. So, these two are the circles. What is the radical axis, my dears? S minus S dash equal to 0. This is S dash equal to 0 and S double dash equal to 0. What is the radical axis of these two circles? S dash minus S double dash equal to 0. Now, what is the radical axis of these two? S double dash minus S is equal to 0. So, these are the equations of their radical axis. Suppose say this is L1, this is L2, this is L3. Now consider L1 plus L2 plus L3. What happened, my dears? L1 plus L2 plus L3 is what? S minus S dash plus S dash minus S double dash plus S double dash minus S. So cancel out, that becomes 0. So L1 plus L2 plus L3 is equal to 0 for some non-zero values. Lambda into L1 plus lambda 2 into L2 plus lambda 3 into L3, at least one lambda not equal to 0, then we say that the three lines are concurrent from the straight lines chapter itself. So we have three non-zero values itself, 1, 1, 1 is there. So we have L1 plus L2 plus L3 equal to 0, such a way that there exists three non-zero constants, their linear combination is 0. We mean these three lines are concurrent at this point. Hence, the radical axis of three circles taken in pairs are either parallel or concurrent. Either parallel or concurrent. If the centers are collinear, they are parallel. Radical axes are parallel. If they are not collinear, their radical axes are concurrent in this manner about the theory. Okay, either parallel or concurrent. So, the statement is valid. The radical axis of three circles taken in pairs are either parallel or concurrent. My dear students, in this case, this is the point of concurrence of the radical axis. This point is called radical center. We define it as radical center. We mean the point of concurrence of the radical axis of three circles taken in pairs is called radical center, if exist. Suppose the centers are collinear, the radical center does not exist. So the radical axis of three intersecting circles are also exist. So this is the radical axis, this is the radical axis of the two circles, this is the radical axis of another two circles. All these three radical axes for the pair of circles meet at that point. That point is called what? Radical center. So this is the property. Okay. So this is the radical center. The point of concurrence of radical axis of three circles taken in pairs is called radical center. This is the definition. The point of concurrence of radical axis of the three circles taken in pairs is called radical center of the three circles if exist. That means already we discussed. These are the three circles. So their radical axes are meet at some point. Compulsory meet at that point. This point is called radical center. My question is, the length of tangent from this radical center to the three circles are equal or not? Yes. This is the point of concurrence of the three lines. This is the point lies on the radical axis of the first two circles. This is the point for which lies on the radical axis. We mean the power of P with respect to the two circles are equal. That means length of tangent from P to the two circles are equal. Similarly, length of tangent from P to the two circles are equal. Again, the length of tangent from P to the two circles are equal. Therefore, the length of tangent from P to the three circles are always equal. From what is the point here? That is the radical center. So, radical center is there. The length of tangent from P to the three circles are equal. This is the radical center. Choose this radical center as a center and this length of tangent as radius. Construct a circle that cuts orthogonally the three circles. that cuts orthogonally your three circles. That is the extension. We will discuss again. The point of concurrence of the radical axis of the three circles taken in pairs is called radical center of these circles. Understand? So, this is the circle, this is the another circle, this is the third circle. These are the radical axis of these three circles. They are met at this point. Understand? That point is called radical center of these three circles. Understand? Note, length of tangent from radical center to the three circles are equal. Choose a radical center as a center and length of tangent as radius. Construct a circle, then it cuts orthogonally the three circles. Already we discussed it. This is the circle. This is the circle. This is the circle cutting orthogonally the three circles, because these are the three circles. This is the radical axis of these two circles. This is the another radical axis. This is the third radical axis for these two. So they meet at this point. They meet at this point P. This point is called what? Radical center. Already we know that the length of tangent from P to the three circles are equal, because by definition of the radical axis itself, length of tangents are equal. If you draw the tangent from here to here itself, that is also equal. If you draw the tangent itself, this is also equal. So you choose this point P as the radical center as a center, and this length of tangent, these three length of tangents are equal. Choose this length of tangent as radius, construct a circle, then that cuts orthogonally the three given circles. Why? Why it cuts orthogonally the three given circles? This is the center of circle, then cutting orthogonally. Why it is cutting orthogonally? Already we discussed that if any circle intersecting orthogonally the two circles, its center lies on the radical axis. Since this is the point which lies on the radical axis of these two circles, we mean what? It means the point lies on the radical axis. It means this is the circle cutting orthogonally the two circles. Suppose some circle cutting orthogonally two circles, then the radical axis passing through center of the circle. Already we discussed it. So this is the point lies on what? Radical axis of these two circles. That means what? The circle cutting orthogonally two circles. Similarly, the point lies on the radical axis of these two circles. That means what? That cutting, this is the circle cutting orthogonally the two circles. This is the point on the radical axis of these two circles. That means this is the circle cutting orthogonally the two circles also. So entirely, what is the role of the circle? The circle cutting orthogonally the three circles. In this manner, we conclude that the circle, this is the circle cutting orthogonally three given circles. That means, suppose there are three circles. This is the radical center of the three circles. Choose this point as the center and length of tangent as radius. Construct one circle that cuts orthogonally the three circles. This is very important concept related to this radical center and radical axis. So remember students, this is finally I am explaining once again to you. Any circle cuts orthogonally three circles. When that cuts orthogonally, if you choose this radical center as a center and the length of tangent as a radius, construct a circle that cuts orthogonally the three circles. What is the point P here? Point P is the radical center of the three circles. Choose this one as center and the length of tangent drawn from P to the three circles as radius. Construct a circle that cuts orthogonally the three circles. Okay, thank you.